Good morning. It is now 6:45 a.m. It is now 6:45 a.m. Good morning. I am Nurse Peju. I am going to be your host this morning. Thank you for joining me. And today is day 18. Yes, 1-8. Oh my goodness. This is our 30-day challenge, and we are only given just 10 minutes to have our early morning reset. And what are we doing? We are using journaling to help reset our mental wellness. So May is the month of mental well awareness, and right now what we are doing is using the act of journaling, pretty much putting the pen to paper to help with clarity, healing, and creativity. I, for one, know for sure that this works because in my experience, in my personal experience, I know that this has truly worked for me, which is why I'm definitely advocating for this. But when it's all said and done, we all need to be advocates for wellness. Well, thank you for joining me, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now that I've already told you why we're here. And we have, as usual, our word of inspiration for today. So today, and if you're wondering what I've been using, I have been using the New Day, New Opportunity Journal, which you can also get on Amazon. And it has literally a page for every single day, and all this word of inspiration is already there, so you can easily access it whenever you need it. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. And today it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, I'm going to read this again. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, if we're to reflect on this, life is life, right? There are some things about ourselves that we obviously cannot change, no matter what we do. However, there are things that can be changed. Now, knowing the difference is very important because we do not want to invest our energy on things that we cannot do anything about. What ends up happening is we end up feeling worse, and we pretty much end up in a place that is worse than where we started. And knowing the difference is the real act of true wisdom. For starters now, I'm going to use myself, Nurse Peju, what I can change. For just to make it real simple, I cannot change my height. I am going to be this height for the rest of my life. Now, I can pray about it. I can try to feed myself. I can try to jog, stretch. But the reality is that the most that I'm probably going to be able to do is to wear some high heels, and that is as high or as tall as I'm going to get. So myself investing all that energy, all that effort in something I truly don't have control over is almost a waste. And really, is that where we want to put our resources? So that's my example. And the courage to change the things that I can. Sometimes we know we want to change, we know we're capable of change, but there's that little resistance to change. And change in itself can be very scary. But for anything to progress or any change is definitely a necessity. So I am going to go ahead and keep quiet because it's that time for me to let you reflect and do some writing. As always, I hope you brought your pen and your notebook, and most importantly, a open heart, so you can go ahead and write. Okay, so remember, our word today is to pray. And what are we praying for? For some more wisdom on what we need to invest our energies on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, our timer is officially over. And just to reflect briefly on what I wrote today, and it's just a reminder that the sooner we accept who we are and how we have been individually or uniquely made or created, the sooner we get to fulfill our potential, because we don't want to waste a lot of time investing in things that do not truly benefit us. The sooner we accept what we've been blessed with, or our faults or our differences, the sooner we get to our ultimate purpose. And I know this can be easier said than done, which is another reason why we're here, because with this process, it gives us the opportunity to really think deeper and just connect much more deeper with ourselves. Since I started this process, I have to admit this is a really good way for me to start my morning, and just kind of being able to center myself and reflect on what type of day I also want to have, and being more intentional, and definitely helping more with the clarity, with the healing, and with the creativity. So right now, this is a process and this is a journey for me. And as I continue to write, I continue to explore different aspects of my own self. But more importantly, I feel that peace, that, just that peace. And you cannot put a price tag on peace of mind, which we all need. So wherever you are, whatever you're up to, I truly hope that when you start or when you join this process, you are able to experience that peace that is going to guide you to where you want to be or where you desire to be. All right. So that being said, remember, on this channel, we focus on progress over perfection. And the fact that you actually showed up is the actual win. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. And slow progression is progression. So thank you for joining me this morning. And I will see you same time again tomorrow as we continue on this journey. Remember, I am Nurse Peju and I'm your host, and I look forward to seeing you, and I wish you all a wonderful and a blessed day. Thank you.